Well, another day and another episode of the F1 My Team career mode, and today we're here for round 2 of season 3 for the Chinese Grand Prix. Now, first of all, if you missed round 1, the season opener and a shocking race result, then check it out, Bahrain, round 1, link in the top right. But today, China, if you guys are looking forward to it, leave a like straight off the bat. Subscribe for more daily F1 content, and let's get the weekend underway, because last year in season 2 this was the scene of our very first win of season 2, so good memories at this track and hoping for more again this weekend. And in the background you can see we've got quite a few upgrades on the way. As for this weekend, there's been no change to the performance chart and things are unchanged to race 1. Speaking of race 1, of course, we're coming off a race win in Bahrain out of absolutely nothing. We've done practice at China. We managed to do 2 of the 3 programs. We failed the qualifying performance pace 1. Besides that, we're feeling pretty decent. The car feels good, and I raced here a couple of days ago in a league race, so it felt pretty fresh in the memory. The muscle memory was there, and I was able to get on the pace quite quickly. So we're going to jump into qualifying. You guys may notice the video length, in Bahrain, and this episode I've started to cut them down a bit, make the videos a bit more digestible, a bit shorter for you guys, and that way they're not so long. So you join me right now in Q1, and I was starting my lap and hopefully aiming to get through on one set of tyres, but you'll see here Matsushita absolutely just gets in the way and puts an end to my first run pretty much straight away. No yellow damage on the MFD, but I asked on the radio anyway.
Be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. No need to worry about tyre condition for now, everything's looking good.
And there's confirmation that we did indeed pick up some damage, and yeah, Matsushita, they're just doing a really bad job of getting out of the way straight out the pits. Now, it was all or nothing this final lap, so I'm going to go for it. Final run of the session. We've got good pace. I should be able to get through into Q2. It should be fairly routine, so let's go for a full lap down towards turn 1. Down to 51 brake bias to improve the rotation of the car and get a bit more kick and get the front end turned in a bit more. Keep it that way for turn 2 as well, as it kind of feather the brake pedal through this section. Short shifting out of 3, and now on the power down towards turn 4 and then turn 5, the hairpin. Braking at the 100 meter board down to 3rd. Avoid the inside curb completely as it has a horrible bump in it. Flat out on the exit down towards turn 6. A little bit of a lift here, try and keep it tight. We have a bit of a snap as we hit the inside curve a bit too much there, and that could be a crucial mistake as we lose at least 2 or 3 tenths there in just outright momentum, which you'd also carry into the next corner as well. So maybe even more, like 4 tenths to be honest with you. End of sector 2, left-hander, 56 brake bars through here to keep the car nice and stable. Left and then the right, short shifting and then keeping the car quite low on the exit of the banking, and then let it run wide right at the end to improve the straight line speed. DRS now wide open on the back straight as we make our way down to the final corner. Now you want to spot the 100 meter board down the 2nd gear. Make sure you don't lock up. I actually just about get this spot on and nick the apex there right at the last second. Short shifting on the traction out of there, and then the final corner, 5th gear, try and avoid the inside yellow sausage curb, and then DRS open across the line we go, and unfortunately it's not enough. We're out P18 and we didn't do the job, which is very surprising. We miss out by literally a tenth of a second, just over a tenth, and that mistake, that snap we had in the middle sector ended up being crucial. So a big mistake, and it's going to cost us quite dearly as we're out in qualifying in Q1 at the first hurdle. So definitely not what I had in mind and not the sort of thing we wanted heading into this weekend. But having said that, the last race, we got knocked out in Q2, we started P14 and we won the race. So there's no reason why we can't be optimistic about a good turnaround on Sunday. We're going to have the better strategy because, those in the top 10 will most likely start on soft tyres, which could potentially ruin their strategy. We're going to get the free tyre choice. So as long as we make a few moves and we're aggressive on the harder compounder tyre in the first part of the race, if we can get to like P14, P13, P12, then we've got a good shot. So it's not all over yet. Let's jump into the race. Let's see what happens and let's try and turn this one around. So if you guys are excited for the race and the comeback, then leave a like and let's get into the action.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo and Norris, Leclerc, Rosberg, Sainz and George Russell, Gasly, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Ocon, Tsunoda, Giovinazzi, Nobuharu Matsushita and Martinez, Latifi, Lundgaard, Mazepin and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Right, so P18 for us in qualifying yesterday. Not what I had in mind, and definitely not where I want to be. So we've got a bit of a task on our hands to try and fight back in this race. I feel like the race pace is strong around here. It's not my best track, but traditionally I'm stronger on Sundays, as the last race proved if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Strategy will play a really key part here today, just like in Bahrain, because all of those cars in the top 10, if they're all on soft tyres, then they're going to have to at least 2-stop in this race. Race strategy for us is going to be a medium to hard tyre strategy, possibly medium soft, but we'll see how the medium holds up first and foremost. Fuel wise, we're going to go 28.5, so a little bit on the heavier side. This is quite a heavy track in terms of fuel consumption. No rain expected, forecast is dry, so let's jump into the action and let's see if we can try and once again fight our way into the points. Right, let's send it, let's see what happens. Try and get a clean start. 5 laps are on and we're underway. Yes, good start, but it looks like Latifi's got off to a pretty good one as well. Down towards turn 1. Being a little bit careful, we almost run to the back of the Alpha there. Taking the tight line as there's a bit of space. Locking wheels with Giovinazzi here. We're going to try and go around the outside of him at turn 3. There we go, bit of oversteer, wrestling the car a little bit. But we're through. Giovinazzi trying to fight back. We're going to actually go for the lunge into turn 5, up the inside of Ocon and Sebastian Vettel. Vettel though fighting back around the outside, and we're going to go side by side into the fast left. Oh, Seb just pulls in front of us there, and I have to let him get ahead. That could have been disastrous. If he'd hit the brakes there quite aggressively, I would have lost my front wing. But P15 is not too bad. 3 places gained. We'll take that. That's a good start in my book around here. Let's see if we can make up a couple more to the end of sector 2 now, and going for the banking, maybe onto the back straight we can make something happen. Taking a super aggressive line there. Gonna try and cut underneath, get a nice low line, get out of the dirty air if possible. Tyres struggling for grip, but now we're in the real tracks of Sebastian Vettel here. Down to the hairpin. We're just edging in a little bit. I think we may have a chance here. Seb goes defensive. We're going to go the long way round on the brakes and at the hairpin. And that is a textbook overtake around the outside. Stroll, Tsunoda here. Side by side to the final corner, so someone's going to lose out. And it's going to be Tsunoda who struggles. Sebastian Vettel coming back at us here. We're going to get the run and use all of our energy to try and get this move done. Side by side with Lance Stroll into turn 1. Lance goes a long way round. We're going to go for the super tight line again into turn 2. And we make it work. And up to P12 we go. Lovely, lovely move. What a start to the race. 6 places gained, and only Gasly remains. I believe he's the last car on the medium tyre, so all of a sudden we are right in the mix on this alternate strategy. So the hard work's been done. Let's try and close up to PA here and try and get within a second when DRS gets enabled, because I want to try and be part of that lead train. So let's push on, but careful at the same time with these curbs, because it's a very tricky track to get right. We've got Verstappen in the pit lane. Very early stop.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Possible wing damage maybe for Verstappen. That's a very early pit stop. So we're now P11. So 1 place off the points. Not gaining on Gasly right now. Hopefully now lap 3 is when the AI they tend to turn their engines down. So we'll start to hopefully make some progress now. So the AI just starting to lose a bit of time now in combat. And I think also other stuff's happening, but I think mainly the guys on softs are starting to lose a bit of pace. So we're now within DRS range of Pierre Gasly. If you look at the minimap, the lead pack has kind of spread out. You've got a Mercedes out front, then you've got a couple of cars spread out, and then this little pack of like 5 cars ahead of us. So I'm expecting some of them to pit this lap. Let's see if that's true or not, as we have a McLaren up the inside of one of the Mercedes cars into the hairpin. Is anyone going to pit? Yeah, looks like a bunch of cars are pitting, so let's see. Rosberg pits.
Nico has come into the pits. He's in the pit lane now.
And we're now back within a second of Pierre Gasly, which is very important. Still battling to turn 1 up ahead, but we can now have a look at Pierre this lap, hopefully. We've got Sainz, Norris, and I'm guessing that's probably Bottas ahead. I think Lando got wing damage though, battling. Whoa! Lando got wing damage, battling with the Mercedes on the last lap because the Merc has pulled away. And Lando now holding everybody up here. It's going to kick off on this back straight, so we're going to have to be ready, as we're all running very, very close to each other. Lando could be losing like 5 places here on this straight if he's not careful. Here we go. Full power deployed. Gasly right now kind of boxed in. This may be an opportunity for us to make the move on him. He moves across right at the last second, so I can't quite commit to that. We're going to go around the outside at the hairpin. Look at the drive we get out of there. That's insane. That's going to give us the inside line into the final corner. And we're going to take that place away from Pierre. And we get DRS as well for good measure. So that was a very nice move. Bottas out there still. So it was Bottas in the lead. That was Hamilton then, the Mercedes, who was just ahead of us. Perez and Bottas, though, going a bit longer. They've got a pretty healthy lead right now. So we're P3 now. Let's see if we've got any pace to kind of pull away from the cars behind. Bottas and Perez do come into the pit lane. So we're going to take the race lead in this Grand Prix. Personal best. I'm pretty much doing personal best almost every lap. There's good pace in the car right now. I feel like I can squeeze a bit more out of it. So let's see if we can set some better lap times. I have just dropped Stroll out of the 1 second window as well. So this is a crucial point in the race. I just want to take a moment to appreciate the pace I've been running at in this stint, which is very, very consistent. I'm actually really happy. The car feels great. If you look at the last few laps, 31.0, 31.1, 31.0, 31.0, 30.9. That's the kind of pace we need, you know, and we're running at a very, very strong pace. So a few more laps of this to go. We're on course for another 0.1, probably most likely. We're going to try and stretch this, I think, in terms of strategy. I'll judge it in a couple more laps, but for now the tyres still feel great. I'm going to go safe. I've decided I'm going to pit. I thought about going long for softs. The tyre wear isn't that bad, you know, I'm pushing 41 on the left front. But why take the risk? You know, we've got track position over all the alternate tyre strategy drivers, so I may as well just play it safe. Let's box, get on the hard tyre. We know we're going to the end and we'll see where it takes us. So let's see, we need a quick stop here from the pit crew. There's actually not that many cars coming through right now, so we may have a chance of rejoining in a pretty strong position here. The overcut has worked well, going nice and long.
Exit now.
2.2, we're going to rejoin behind the Red Bull here.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Maybe even splitting them. Yes, we will. We'll just split Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton here. So we rejoin in P7, which is crazy. So again, similar to Bahrain, the overcut paying dividends for us. And I believe all these cars are on mediums, have to stop again. So including Rosberg, unfortunately. He's probably looking at another stop in this race. So let's see if we can try and stick with Lewis here. I feel like we've got the pace to do it, and Lewis could be a potential championship contender for us, so let's try and run with him. Although realistically maybe I could be wrong, I may have bitten off more than I can chew here. And now we've got Sebastian Vettel in the pit lane, so we'll move up into the top 6. Lewis just a little bit too fast at this moment in time. We'll see if we can keep Verstappen behind, but these tyres feel good. There's a lot of grip. I feel like there's good pace here. I'm going to let Max go here. Maybe he can help us string onto the back of Hamilton, so I'm not going to use any ERS. I'm actually not slow. I'm the same pace as Lewis, but I lose about 0.3 in the fast left-hander at the start of sector 2. So you go through the hairpin at turn 5, and then what is technically turn 6, that left-hander, the AI are just so fast through there. They just completely drop me, and well, that hasn't worked out. That plan completely backfired as Verstappen pits. We do get DRS for free, but I've lost time for no reason, so let's push on. Maybe Rosberg can help us keep Hamilton at bay for a little bit. And there we go, Rosberg pits. So that's released Hamilton into clean air.
Nico is just peeling off into the pits now. He's in the pits.
Ricciardo pits as well, so I'm pretty sure we are net P4 as it stands at this moment in time. So I'll take that. Very happy with that. That wasn't part of the plan to start the weekend. Again, at the start of the race, I knew we could get points, but P4 is fantastic. Personal best, keeping the pace up. I feel great right now. The car is insane to drive. I think it could be a pretty boring final 10 laps unless something dramatic happens. But hey ho, listen, I'll take a boring P4 any day of the week. So let's bring this home. Yellow flag. That's behind us though. I think it's Sebastian Vettel that's had a problem. Will this trigger a late twist in the tail? Possible late safety car? Let's find out. Seb out, confirmation of that. First retirement of the race, but it does look like we're going to continue on our way. So no safety car, no virtual safety car, so let's keep going. Well, I can't even lie, this has been a bit of a private test session really, since about lap 18 to be honest. I've just been getting to know the car and seeing where the limits are. Currently on for a personal best on the last lap. I'm trying to see if I can creep below a sub 30. And that's not going to help. Bottas wins though, and we're going to come home in P4. Another strong recovery drive from P18 to P4 this afternoon. We'll take that and more points in the championship.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Well, there we go then. Job done. I think that deserves a W in chat. P4, we'll take that. Very good recovery. 14 places gained. Driver of the day once again. And Bottas picks up the victory ahead of Perez and Hamilton. So, not too shabby. Lance Stroll P5, Gasly, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Leclerc and Rosberg round out the top 10. Verstappen in the end picking up the fastest lap. Missing out in the top 10 we have Ocon, Norris, Russell, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Tsunoda, Matsushita, Schumacher, Latifi, Mazepin and Lundgaard. And Sebastian Vettel out of the race. Now, after 2 rounds we can now look at the driver standings because we've got something to actually look at and go off. So, after 2 races, we lead the World Drivers' Championship by 7 points over Valtteri Bottas. 1 point further behind Lewis Hamilton, Lance Stroll P4, and Rosberg currently chilling in P10. So, not too bad. Rosberg definitely throwing away some potential in the first 2 races in terms of pace, especially Bahrain. In the Constructors, we are in 2nd place. Mercedes lead by 20 points. So again, we need Nico to maximise his race performances and do a little bit more just to make sure we're in the mix a bit more frequently. But anyway, a good day at the office. Good points here this afternoon. We're now going to move into the laptop and prepare things moving forward into round 3 at Spain.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Yeah, we did. We had a good car, good strategy. Pace was really strong. I don't think it was a lot stronger than the rest of the teams around us. I just think we kept it clean and did a good job of being very consistent. So, yeah, really good race. I really enjoyed it. And when the car drives like this, it's good fun.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
I hope so. We're all working together here. Hopefully, we're all pushing each other to do well. And I think the most important thing is you can't get complacent.
Appreciate your time.
Well, after the race, Perez does pick up a big chunk of points this weekend and takes a 2-point lead in the rivalry moving forward. So, kind of to be expected. It is where it is. We had a good weekend, but Perez looking very strong in P2. Now, I claim no big changes, of course, as we now move into cash payouts, and we're going to see how the weekend went. It should be a full payout, or maybe not actually. Apparently, even though I answered 2 interview questions from Zainetto, I didn't get the payout, which is really weird. 10k on the damages on our end, but still a good cash flow coming in, and now sitting on $20 million, which is pretty insane. Now, we've got quite a few things to get through. First of all, a sponsorship renewal with Zainetto. We'll stick with them, quite easy. As long as it doesn't glitch out like it just did, it should be quite achievable. All we've got to do is do 2 interview questions every weekend. Now, we've got a lot of space here. I believe a bit of a breather in the season, so we're going to go ahead and do a bit of work. Second draft performance review, it means it improves Rosberg's focus, which I'll happily take. Elsewhere, we are also going to go for, I think, power department focus. I don't mind working on that. That might be due a little upgrade or two very soon. Aero team building as well. We're going to add to that by doing, I think, a sponsor advertisement, as it just brings in winnings all round, and that leaves us 3 days left, so we can actually squeeze in pretty much every single activity actually. So that's good news. On the messages tab, we're going to get a performance comparison, which we already know about, so pretty irrelevant information there. Now, R&D 1,600 points. I feel like I might do a little engine upgrade. Looking at what we have available, I feel like the fuel flow regulator could be a good option. Fairly decent discount, so we'll go ahead and get that on the car, and we'll save the rest of the points in case we have a rainy day. I'm going to spend a bit of cash as well, so we'll go for powertrain, and I think we'll go for build time and quality control. Why not? We'll add quality control level 2 to the aero, and I'll do the chassis in the next race, I think. I don't know if we'll... Actually, you know what? Let's do it now. Why not? We've got enough cash. Let's burn it. So there we go. That should do the trick. And quite a few things coming in. So let's run through it and make sure everything arrives. And there we go, job done, everything came through, no issues whatsoever. We now have 1,100 points, and we'll spend those at the start of the next episode as we pick up from the season break. If you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like, subscribe for more for that recovery drive and the daily F1 content on my channel. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting my content. And finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.